Hi, I'm Nastasia Nicolau and I'm with the Nocturnal. So, congratulations on this incredible series. It was so well done. It evoked so many emotions for me when watching. One minute I was crying, the next I was smiling. I do want to know, so what was the biggest challenge in adapting the novel while maintaining its integrity, but also creating something visually and emotionally compelling for screen?
Anastasia, God, that's a great question.
I'm only halfway through, but I have been reading it and it's incredible.
Look, I'd say, and this is true for most adaptations, it is what to keep and what not to keep, right? What to change and what not to change, and why, right? And the only way, and that's the same challenge that then we have throughout the entire process because at every stage of the thing, it's like you start from like a gigantic tree that you trim and you trim and you trim. You trim. So we're always making that decision, ourselves. But from right there at the beginning, it's you've got this incredible book, this incredible story that you have to tell in a different way on television. So it's what do I keep? What do I change? What do I leave on the quote unquote cutting room floor? So that's the challenge, especially when it's a great book. It's like, oh, I wish I could, but I can't.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and we can't ignore that Washington Black touches on intensely dark and heavy themes like slavery and systematic racism. Yet by episode two, there's this fantastical and whimsical element that's introduced through the innovation and discovery elements. So, how did you strike that balance between the harsh realities of history and the more imaginative, hopeful elements that this series brings?
Your point, it was a balance. It was a balance to, to let that dream, that inspiration kind of be what pulls him out of the darkness, and that becomes his North Star and his guiding light. So to your point, it's all about that balance uh of the darkness and the light.
Now, watching the series was not only inspirational to see how far these characters are willing to go because of these concepts of identity, love, and freedom. But Wash goes on this complex journey from Barbados to flying above dolphins to surviving the Arctic, and then he's in Morocco. So, can you explain like the behind the scenes of how you guys filmed all of this in all of these diverse environments? What was CGI? How much was practical sets? Give us the lowdown.
Well, look, we wanted to be as authentic as possible, to be as truthful as possible in every element of storytelling. So really, it's about, as you said, it's going to start with like, can I have this 10-course meal? And it's like, all right, if I end up with six, that's pretty good, right? So for me, that meant I wanted to be as much as I could be in those places of the world where the story takes place, or in places of the world that give you that feeling, right? So obviously, I couldn't go to the Arctic to shoot in the Arctic, but Iceland's pretty doggone good, right? So it really was sort of that balance of really trying to find those locales that would feel good on screen, but would also have the production base that we needed and all the yada 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 TV stuff, about it. But I wanted you to look at it on screen and feel the epic and ambitious nature of the show, and the epic and ambitious nature of Wash's journey. Right? It's not sort of big in scale for its own sake. It's big in scale because that reflects the character's desires and the character's ambitions.
Absolutely. I mean, it is so epic, and I'll let you talk, Kimberly, too, about that process as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a book you read or a show, and you're like, yeah, we'll put this on a sound stage. I think, every location served, it was its own character. During that time that Wash is there, that is its own, its own character. And, we just wanted to stay very authentic. And you couldn't have done that without, walking all over, flying all over the world to film these scenes. So it was just as important to be in these locations to tell this story, in order to make this show.
And these actors are incredible. I mean, young Wash, for as his age, is just so compelling on screen. And then to have such a seasoned pro like Sterling K. Brown in the show as well. What was it like working with these actors and having him back this project and be on board?
Yeah, I mean, working with the actors in general was just an amazing experience. We talk about one of the themes of the show being this idea of found family, and that was literally true for for us over the course of this production, over the course of the journey. Our actors, our whole cast and crew, all of them really became a sort of tight bonded family. And Sterling was one of the parents. He was a person that really people found to be their emotional North Star, if it were. He's an incredible human being, and he is exactly who you think he is. And we were the beneficiaries of that.
And finally, what do you hope audiences take away from this series?
I hope they dream even bigger than what they're already dreaming. Truly, it's such a dreamer show. It's such an epic adventure, and I just hope audiences take that and continue to dream.
Yeah, and how can you not with this cloud cutter? I mean, that alone was just incredible to watch. So, congratulations, you guys. Thank you for your time and best of luck with everything. I'm hoping for a season two.
Well, it's a limited series, and no story to
We'll see
tell.
what
So
happens.
I'm glad you
But
hope.
appreciate it, you guys. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Hey. Bye.
Hey, congratulations, you guys, on this series. There were moments that I was crying. There were moments that I was smiling at my screen. The relationship between Wash and Tana isn't quite a traditional love triangle. It's layered with societal expectations, cultural obligations, the reality of Tana's arranged engagement to William McGee. So, how did you, Lola and Ernest, build the chemistry between your characters while also showing the restraint and fear and kind of guilt that comes with a love that's off limits?
It's a good question.
Well, I think the foundations of a real strong relationship, you have to go through this process of really trying to understand each other. And I think certainly from Tana's perspective, she wants to embrace her heritage. She's so excited to meet someone like Wash who truly sees her, but she's also a bit short-sighted in like how much she understands of Wash's experience. So I think they go through this journey of actually getting to understand each other and a bit more.
No,
Yeah.
100%. I think just to add on that, like I think with Washington, it was important that I guess the kind of love at first sight like was potent enough that even in the moments where we were restricted, it was clear as day that there was like that yearning, that longing for each other, you know? And like I guess just having the privilege and the gift to work with Yola, like it was just the chemistry was there because we were so comfortable with each other. Like it was fun, and it just made it,
Yeah.
it just made it so much easier to have that bond, you know?
Yeah, and you could really see that on screen. And I wanted to ask you, Edward, because your character does sort of surprise the audience in a way, and you can't
Mhm.
help but really start to like him. So your
Yeah.
character represents both privilege and pressure, I think. So how did you balance portraying a man who benefits from the system, but while also being kind of caught in his own set of expectations and flaws, if you will?
I think what's so interesting about him is there's a real battle going on inside him that we watch play out. And I think at the beginning, he does start as this incredibly traditional sort of product of a system. And he really has an arrogance about him and he thinks he's going to get exactly what he wants. And then actually, it's sort of his own desire to get married is ultimately his undoing because he happens to be arranged to be married to someone like Tanner, who I think what's so interesting about the character of Billy and what I love playing is he does surprise you. And actually, as time goes on, he learns so much from her that we see him have a genuine change and really start to consider sort of why he is where he is, how he is where he is, and maybe what's wrong with the world around him.
Yeah, and this story isn't just about romance. It's also about what's denied because of race and class and colonialism. So, how do these larger forces kind of impact the way Wash and Tana see each other and themselves in their love story? There's some dark and heavy themes, but there's also a sense of like whimsicalness and innovation and hopefulness. So, how did that impact the way that you guys played your characters?
Yeah, no.
Big question.
Yeah. I think it was interesting because I think, there is a lot in the story about identity and like kind of with those we're in a world, we're in a society like in the show where there's loads of pain and restriction, but because of that, there is even more of a hope and like a faith in there's got to be more than this, to the world. Like I can dream it beyond my reality, therefore it's possible because there is so many restrictions, and I feel like the love comes with that. Like seeing someone like Tana who like I feel like Wash sees right through her from the beginning, and Tana the same. And I think just having that, I guess that's where that whimsicalness comes from, like the dreaming and the dreaming for more than your reality. Yeah.
Were there any scenes that stood out to you as especially challenging or rewarding to film? Give us some stories from set because you guys were all over the place.
Yeah. Who's stories?
What stories have I got? I was only in one place. I was only in Canada. You've got Mexico,
You got some
which is
stories.
and sort of tropical weather in Mexico. It sounded fascinating in period costume.
Yeah.
Whereas we were in sort of like, sort of March in Nova Scotia, which was quite a different thing. I love filming. I have some scenes where I bare knuckle box, and I thought that was quite fun.
That was really cool to watch.
But because I'm not a fighter in real life, never will be, but I got to pretend to be one, which is what acting is all about. And I had a great time, and it was a really fun day, and a day that I was quite nervous for, but the people around me made me feel super comfortable, and it was a really strong memory of mine from the performance.
Yeah. No, I think I'd say Iceland. We spent some time in Iceland, and it was. I mean, I didn't film that much, but I just had moments where where we were staying, we had to like make a crossing to get to like reception to eat food. And I remember it was me, young Wash, Eddie, and his dad, and we were crossing, and it was like a blizzard, like it was a full-on blizzard. Eddie's there, like behind me. He's like, I can't see, and I'm holding Eddie, and I'm taking him with me, and I was like, wow, we're really living the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
in the circumstances, and this is real, and we're on that journey and that adventure. But yeah, that was a moment that sticks out.
It was such an adventure to watch. You guys absolutely crushed it. Thank you for your time. It's such an incredible series. I can't wait for everyone to watch it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Congratulations, Eddie, on this project. You had so many different scenes and so many different environments. One day you're in Barbados, the next you're flying over dolphins, and then you're in the Arctic freezing in the snow. Is there a particular moment or scene that was your favorite to film and why?
Ooh, my favorite scene to film was a lot of the scenes in Iceland because the the climate was not CGI or anything. We were like really there. So to
Oh,
really have an opportunity to really experience the emotions and, the environment of the scene as an actor is everything you need, really. Yeah.
yeah, because even, at a young age, Wash is so curious and he's smart and he's deeply observant. What stood out to you about how he sees the world despite where he comes from and despite, how tough it is for him as a child?
It's that it's the fact that he tried to find love and joy throughout in a world of pain. Really, I thought that was inspiring, and it's something that I try to take into my own life as much, and I try to, preach to those around me. I don't know how much moral high ground I have, but if I can share that story, it's always good.
Absolutely. And how did you stay grounded in the emotions of the scenes while acting in those big cinematic moments? Because it probably, can wear on you as an actor dealing with this type of material. It's some dark, heavy stuff that's really important for us to talk about in society. But how did you stay grounded in those times?
I mean, I owe a lot to my dialect and my acting coach, both in she sort of did both. Her name was Denise, and she helped me throughout the whole thing and to really get into the emotions, but also to get out of it because as dark as it can be, you don't want to stay in there as well. And music as well really helped me get into it. Conversely, helped me get out of it as well.
Yeah. And, young Wash, he goes through a lot very quickly. He goes through loss, discovery, escape. You have connection. How did the script help you understand his emotional journey and the arc of your character?
And the script is so beautiful because the stage directions really told you the internal thoughts of the character. So you were still able to use your imagination, but you were really guided in where to go.
And how long was the prep and how long was the filming? What was that process like for you?
So, I was cast in the show about 2 months, 3 months prior to us shooting, and then we sort of had 2 weeks at the 2 weeks at the start of just, getting to know each other, preparing some scenes. I rehearsed a couple scenes with Tom, and that was sort of where my time was spent, and I really got to know Ernest as well. And that was and then we just started filming, and after that it was just bang, 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 and it was very
Got it
seamless.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, finally, what do you hope viewers take away from Wash's story unfold from such a young age and how much he overcomes throughout the series? I felt a lot of emotions watching the 8 episodes. So, what do you want audiences to take away?
I hope audience take away that they're inspired to continue to find love and joy, even if the world may not present it to them.
Absolutely. What a great way to round it out. But thank you so much for your time. Congratulations again. I can't wait till everyone sees it and best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.